Hello. I am doing my due diligence to make sure that sound works. Because, you know, the absolute shit show of trying to do this is getting two devices to stream next to each other without the audio being a complete fucking nightmare with each other. I have no idea if I'm even on here. Am I even here? Like, I got nothing. I got nothing. This is some bullshit. Oh, I got nothing. How wild. Oh, wait. Oh, check that out. Finally. Finally. I will be impressed by technology. Bullshit. When technology is doesn't make me feel stupid. If that makes any sense. But, it's probably just me because I'm a dork. I got to remember that the camera on me is there. Okay. So if you're watching, leave me a comment. I hope I see it. I'm on two different crazy things here, but this is the best solution I could find for having this in a place where people could actually see it. And so this is my pre-sketched graveyard take on Dead and Gone. I went back and did a more I don't even know what to say, what to call it. But anyway, no idea what's going to come out of this. All I do know is that this particular sketch is very different than the one I played around with and did originally as kind of a practice thing. And I have been doing so much practice in so many different ways. I think I'm almost over all of my annoyances. I think I'm finally at a place where I'm actually finding benefits to this whole entire process because I'm finding ways to make what I need work for what I want in the way that I envision. Because my biggest thing is I have something in my mind. I have whatever it is in there, and most of the time I don't need it to be exact. I don't need it to be perfect. My best friend and I were just talking about this earlier today. We were talking about how a lot of what has gotten me to a place with my art to actually even finish a piece is the fact that I am okay with having to make adjustments as I go, depending on where the piece takes me. If the piece takes me in a different direction than what I envisioned, then I'm going to let it. And I had forgotten that. Because with some of this process, I was finding myself trying to stay within these confines of some rules that I hadn't even set. Nobody set any rules for me. But I found myself like, I don't know what that was. I was just... Anyway, so I'm glad that I had that conversation with her because I got back to what I would call my bare bones. I got back to what makes this work for me. What makes this work for me? Well, what makes this work for me is allowing myself mistakes, allowing myself to not be fucking perfect. And a lot of my pieces have things in them that I didn't plan them. And they just happened and I went with it and I made it work and I worked around it and I created around it and they end up being what they are. And so I had to do that with this whole process, and oh my God. So it took away a lot of this craziness that I was going through this week and the last week, and I actually got some work done. And I'm okay calling it work. I actually got some pieces done, and they're at a place that I'm happy with. And I had forgotten. Oh my God, I had forgotten how bad of a perfectionist I could be. I hadn't played or dabbled in perfectionism for so long, I had forgotten what it was even like. And then I get into this process of doing stuff like in a different way that I had ever done before. And my head wanted to go back there. And I was like, why do I want to go back there? I haven't lived in that perfectionist world forever. Why am I there? Why am I over there again? So I am back in the land of no rules, no definitions, no titles, no if this doesn't work this way, then it's not okay. Or if that doesn't work that way, then I'm gonna stop. No. I'm back into the world of, you know what? This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen however it comes out of me at whatever phase or stage I'm at. Like right now I'm sketching, and I'm sketching pretty close to the blue because I found myself doing a lot of the fine detail, even with just the blue when I was doing the blue. And I'm going to move this a little bit. So I like to be comfortable when I sketch, you know, I can't sketch or draw or paint standing. I just never have been able to. No interest in trying. Oh my God. I'm on the edge of the thing here, but that's okay. So like, for example, when I sketched this, there's a fish right in the middle of it. That was not planned. That was not the plan. But there is, he's there, you know, which makes perfect sense because I found this piece when I finally was getting to the sketch part of it, the part that I knew I would want in the book. I found myself going way back to my childhood and visions of graveyards and visions of churches and catechism classes and Catholic school and the nuns and angels and everything about what I grew up with and belief. And what I believe or what anyone else believes is really irrelevant to me in my current state of life. What I do know is I choose what comforts me. I choose what comforts my soul. And I know that for me, those visuals, they comfort me. And whether there's any truth or reality or anything substantial behind them to get all up in arms about, it's not for me to decide. I got no fucking opinion on it. Don't even come at me about it. All I do know is that I will seek what comforts me. If it makes me feel comfortable, if I don't feel like I want to die, if I feel like it's giving me peace, that's what I'm going to believe today. That's what I'm going to choose today. And I just fucking hate. Okay, let me try this again. Sometimes I rush, and that was the other thing I was discovering through this process. I haven't done detail like this for a couple of years because I had switched to canvas, and I quite admittedly had loved the fact that I didn't have to. I could get and achieve what I wanted in my head with paint and simplicity in a way that, I mean, well, I wouldn't call any of my paintings really simple. Because they're so not. But anyway, I was doing a little bit more detail. Which way the fucking camera goes? Oh, there we go. Here we go. I have everything plugged in to an actual charger, to an actual wall outlet, because God forbid anything goes dead while I'm doing this, like last time. It took me 3 times to even go live last time with audio working, with me working, with the screens working, without anything falling on my head. If you're there, leave a comment because I have no idea who's watching. Anyway. I've never watched a live broadcast in my life and not commented and at least let the person know, hey, what you doing? I'm watching. Oh, was that judgment? Did that sound like judgment? Whoever you are that's watching that hasn't commented. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just saying I wouldn't do that. It wouldn't occur to me to do that. I mean, maybe if I'm doing something else. I have sketched while I'm watching someone. When I have lunch with Christy knows I sketch sometimes while she's talking, but I still let her know that I'm there. Oh, I have this other thing I was thinking about when I was sketching this, similar to this piece I did on canvas last week. I have this thing in my head, this visual of shapes in a way that hasn't really been in my art before, and I don't know. I think part of it is being homesick, and homesick for the people, my family, but more so homesick for the place. And maybe it is because of the whole concept behind this particular poem, Dead and Gone, and the using a grave mausoleum type of image as the illustration for it. But it made me remember back when I was at home, and back when I grew up in Louisiana, and all of the different places I grew up by, the churches, the oldness to it. I mean, I don't have to say think. I know. I can't imagine ever wanting to live there again. But definitely visit. I could definitely see myself wanting to visit someday. When rock the low. Oh my God, that's from my best friend's wedding. I watched that movie just the other day, and it's a good movie. Dermot Mulroney, Julia Roberts. Oh, wow. Cool. Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about the other day, StreamYard, live viewers' comments show up. Anyway, I was thinking about the difference between something I know is going to end up painted, as opposed to these pieces that I want to leave in in a sketched look. And I thought about that a lot, and my head I couldn't wrap my brain around what was troubling me about the whole entire project. And it came to me that part of it is that's the whole entire point, is that I've always wanted to color them. I've always wanted to color and add color and put paint to a sketch. Always. It's why my pieces are so bright or colorful or all of that. That's my head. Okay, sure, sketched black and white. That's great. But I lived my life. This came to me the other day. I've lived my life. I had lived my life for so long in the dark, in this super dark place about how I felt about me, dark place about the things that I got to survive as a kid, as a woman. And I just, there's something about coloring them. There's something about adding that color and making them bright and bold and strong lines and all those things. All of that is like this rebellion. It's like this rebellion I've got going on. And so doing these like this with that process, or that end result in mind, part of it is I don't like having an end result in mind. I don't like having an end result in mind. And the other part of it is like, I don't want them to be in the dark. I don't want them to be black and white. So I'm wrapping my head around that. And of course, I don't, like sooner or later, if I beat at it or think on it or stew on it or tantrum, whatever it is, eventually the answer will come to me. Sometimes it comes right away. Sometimes I have to make myself miserable for a while first. And I got the answer. So it's fine. If I'm going to leave them in black and white, okay, fine. And part of what I needed, that I got to play around, I got to do some pieces for my coloring book, that was a book I started last year and never finished because software, I couldn't find the patience inside of me that is needed to learn new software. And so I finally got humble enough, willing enough to try some things out, different softwares, different apps, cameras, stuff, things I didn't want to deal with. Things I did not want to deal with. And I got a few of those pieces that they're done. Like I inked these brand new sketch. I didn't sketch them. I took my prints of my pieces from my art collection book, because I had printed that book in black and white with the intention of converting them somehow to be coloring pages. Well, I couldn't find a software that didn't take 3 million years to get all the color out so that it could actually be a coloring page. And I would have never even come up with the idea if it hadn't been for my friend Leanne, a woman I've never even gotten to meet in person. And her lovely question one day got it in my head to do the coloring book. And I will do it. I will finish it. And now I have hope that I will finish it now that I started. So every second of annoyance and frustration and anger about this project was worth it, because I know I'll finish that coloring book, because I did a few of those pieces from that book. And last night, particularly, I worked on a piece called Roar. She was a sketch I had done of Katy Perry, and I turned it into a Katy Perry geisha girl type of thing with flowers. And it was one of the first pieces of art of mine that anyone ever bought. And it took me some time, and I had to, convince myself that it was okay that she's not the exact. Get this, she's not exact. What ended up coming out using the light box that I got and the ink is just her lines are a little different. The flowers are a little different. And that's rad. All of a sudden, my brain just goes, huh. So yeah, okay, it'll be a coloring book, and it'll have like 101 or 110. I think there's 101 pieces in that collection. I've painted at least a dozen or two since. So I have way more paintings than what was going to be in the book. But eventually, when I do it, I might add the new pieces. I haven't decided. I might wait until I do a second volume. I hate math, but I like compartmentalizing things, and I like keeping things separate and segregated in certain ways that make, and it's because of my own anxieties. I have found that that's one of the easiest ways for me to ease anxiety, is to not allow myself to get too confused. I still have a tendency to just, rather than press lightly, I'm trained in my head, my hands, my whole whatever. I'm trained that I'm going to paint, and so strong lines is part of what I do. It's what I'm going to need, and so I always kind of tend to sketch with strong lines. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't necessarily need them to be all that strong, because I'm going to ink this, and then yeah. Oh my God, that was a whole nother thing. So I have these ink pens. They're so not artist pens. They're these really super basic gel pens that I absolutely adore. And I started using them years ago. And I went to try to use them for this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God, these are way too much ink. They bleed. I can't do this. I can't use these. And then I realized that it's actually a good thing that they bleed and that they're thick. Because when I was doing Roar last night, I was allowing that to happen. I was allowing them to get a little like out of line, I guess is a way to put it, slightly even or more. And then what I learned today when I did another piece that I did, I like it because I actually ended up with a whole different piece of what was sketched in front of me because of what the ink was doing on the paper. And therein lies one of the things about my art that got me to finally finish my art, as I said earlier, is allowing the pieces, allowing the paper, allowing the medium to do what it's going to do the way it's going to do it. And rather than try to force it to do something in my head, try to figure out a way to make the two come together. Have what's in my head and what I'm working with on paper, or what I'm working with the ink pen, and just let it go. Let it guide, let it dictate to me. Oh, that skill, it's not even a skill, but that agreement in my head that I made with whatever I'm doing a long time ago has been working. It's been working to get me to put my anxiety away, to put my annoyances away. I'm still thinking about burning all of my art. And I laugh because that's really not a joke. Like, I think I might actually have a fire sale, meaning that if someone wants something of mine, they're going to want to come buy it, or they're going to want to come grab it, give me a donation and take it home, because I'm done. I'm done having dozens and dozens of finished art around me doing nothing. I'm done. And I love every piece that I have in my room. I love every piece hanging on my wall. I love everything in here. But I will donate it. I will totally donate it, burn it, or whatever, in order to not have to look at it anymore, in order for it to not be in my space. Because if I get to a place, and I haven't quite yet, but I feel myself getting there. I feel myself getting to a place where it's stifling my present day creativity. It's stifling me to have it all here, to have it all there. And so what that means is that I'm going to probably burn it or give it away. I'm going to do something with it to get it out of my space. Because if it's in my space, what I have learned is that if it's in my physical space, it's in here. And I can't have that. That it's fine for a while, but after a while, it's too much. No. I am crazy enough as it is. I don't need anything else in my head to help me get crazy, stay crazy, or go crazy. Fuck that. No. So if I feel like something is making me crazy, whatever it is, I will dispel it. I will figure out a way to remove it. Whether it's something physical, a person, boundaries. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I did. I just realized I was working on the fence, and then I started working on one of the graves, and I'm like, wait, I wasn't done with the fence. I'm not done with the fence. Oh, I was noticing after that my little things at the top of my fences, they're upside down hearts, but they kind of look like candle fires. It's kind of cool. I love that. One of those little things that just worked out that way. I didn't sketch it with that intention. That's just the way it worked out. What do I have? Oh yeah, okay. Whew. Sometimes I have to go like, what is that? Like the blue pencil's fabulous. It's like greatest invention ever. I'm so excited that Rich Parada even ever told me what they were, because they're fabulous. Like, makes like whatever little like technicality thing or technical part that I need, sometimes it helps me with that, get a perspective. On canvas, I use colored pencils to sketch with, because when you paint over the color pencils, the color pencils become part, like you don't even know, you can't tell that they were there. I even do that with black sometimes. And oh yeah, kind of like that, like this. I have this thing where if I'll just add a little line, like we need to add a little line there. I had two different people this week I was telling about Bob Ross and how I there is a happy mistake in everything I do. Everything I do somewhere, there's some moment in the piece where I was like, oh, fuck, that is not what I meant to do. And I'll just go, we will make that a bird. I'm just kidding. I mean, not always literally make things a bird. I rarely, it's funny, I rarely do anything nature, really. I have a few pieces, actually. Lots of flowers. Which is no shock because, yes, as some people know, Gustav Klimt is my favorite painter. You'll never convince me that anyone was better than him, except for maybe Michelangelo. Definitely, yeah, he's definitely up there too. Michelangelo, Gustav Klimt, and otherwise, I love Georgia O'Keeffe. When I do any kind of flowers, I will pull out some of her stuff and get a visual of her technique or her color themes or whatever. But she would be my go-to for flowers. Annie Leibovitz would be my go-to for photography. Yeah, there you go. And if I'm questioning how I'm going to word something in one of my books, sometimes I will, I have to call my best friend. I have to call Leslie. Leslie has to tell me. She has to articulate it for me. And yeah. I feel like I'm missing something. I think I did in blue, and now I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like there's something missing. And I know. I remember. Okay. So yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. So yeah. Whew. I don't know. So this whole process has been kind of fun. Oh, I haven't, I have to send her a message when I'm offline. But my friend Sherry sent me some kind of stylus. It starts with a C and I can't remember the name, but as soon as I opened it, I plugged it into charge because when I get done with this and I get settled and shift into my other part of my day, I am going to try it with my HP Envy laptop and my software, sketchbook software, which is my favorite so far. Other than this one that will cartoon things and smooth the lines for me, Adobe Capture does that actually. Adobe Capture does that really well, and it's free. That part of it is free. I don't like paying for something I can do for free. And the thing is I couldn't do that for free. I couldn't do that. I couldn't smooth the lines of one of my inked pieces the way I would like for a book. And that's why I had to get willing to learn those freaking softwares, some kind of software to do that. And I found them. And I could just leave it the way I have it and just work with what I have just right there on my phone. I don't even really need to get into Sketchbook really, but I kind of still do want to, because there's some things that I noticed in there that, like I don't ever see me sitting and doing some like digital illustrator type thing. I just, no. My arthritis in my shoulders and my neck probably wouldn't even let me have that kind of a job. Not full time. Just a little bit of stuff I've done on it this week made my neck flare up, and I'm just kind of sort of getting over it. And like, this doesn't bother me. I don't know what it is. But having a pencil in my hand, doing what I'm doing right now in this position, doesn't bother me. Something about a mouse. Well, maybe, and that's why my friend Sherry sent me this pen. So hopefully the pen works, because trying to do anything in that program with a mouse isn't going to work. That's not going to work for me. I can't do it. And I'm just not one of those people, or it doesn't work. It hurts my back, not my back, but my neck. It makes my fingers go numb and tingly. And I know that that's normal for me. I don't have any nerve damage per se. It's all related to arthritis and swelling. So Oh, this is cute. It's a graveyard, Dory. I just called it cute. Oh, well. You know, that's kind of not, well, graveyards back home weren't cute. But if you're anyone like I was with a creative, artistic brain, and you're growing up in a world like Louisiana, you develop a liking for architecture and concrete, but not, well, concrete's not the right word. One of my friends, oh, Benji, told me to look up Baroque architecture because when I was describing some of the stuff I wanted to do with some of the pieces I still have left to do, he's like, oh, well, that sounds like Baroque. And I'm like, yeah, I know that name. And so I go look it up and oh yeah, sure enough, like those intricate designs, the intricacies, the fine detail, you know, if you look at modern day stuff, which is fine, sleek lines and clean lines, I like that stuff too. But, you know, so we miss so much. We miss so many different things about, you know, how much more beautiful something can be. And I don't know if it's because of laziness, even my own, like as I mentioned before, even my own laziness will get me to be less detailed in a sketch or a painting because, you know, God forbid I have to spend more time than I need to or spend more effort than I need to. And I'm learning that, you know, it actually looks better. It looks better. So let it happen, Dory. Let it happen. Let it happen. Oh, this is kind of a comfortable position, kind of not. I have really long legs. I am 5'10". So now I'm wondering, I'm at this point in the sketch where do I start adding start adding ink, or do I keep doing what I'm doing? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm still pencil because, as I mentioned before, I don't get to decide. I've gotten to a place where I've allowed this to speak to me so well, it'll tell me. It'll tell me when it's done with me putting pencil to it. And then I'll switch to pen and I'll be like, okay. You know, and so like, if you're watching, leave a comment. If not, great. I don't know why. Maybe I'll stop coming on live because nobody says anything to me while I'm on here. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding, but whatever. So if you're there and you're watching and you want me to ever do this again, you might want to say hi to me. You might want to say hi. Because otherwise I just may never do this again. No, I'm just kidding. I am such a brat. I don't know why I'm such a brat. I do know why. I have a solution for why I'm a brat. Ha ha. Okay. I like it. I almost want to, you know, like with some of these, my head goes to that color thing. I'm like, I want to see all the colors I would put in this and what I would do for colors. Oh my God, you have no idea what I would do. And I'm like, no, remember, these are the whole point. The whole point is to have your illustrations in this particular book be sketches. That's kind of it's the theme. And I'm like, ugh. Why does that bother me so much still when I think about it? Probably because I feel like I'm being selfish. My selfish painter wants to paint, and she wants to paint this. She wants to paint this. And you know, all right, fine. We won't paint, but guess what? I'm gonna shade. Wait, which way do I go? Okay. Oh my God. I cracked myself up. I am the funniest person I know. Oh, I love this. I love this. Let me see. Let me get the cross up here a little more. Ooh, I like that. Well, I think it's pretty much done. I mean, like, oh, missed a line. Hey, there we go. I will be interested to see what happens when I choose to put ink to this. And let me make sure. Oh yeah, here's the fish. So the fish was not a plan. I have this fish up here. And it was not a plan, but I want to make sure that when I do add ink, that the fish stands out into this pattern that I have going on here. Whoa. My long legs. Long legs. Oh, I like that. Okay. I like that idea. And you know, it's funny. I was thinking about this when I was thinking about all of these different complexities to this process and teaching myself things I had never done before. One of the things that came to mind was that I can't stand math. I'm not a fan of math, but my favorite math I took in school was geometry. That was my favorite. I understood it from day one. It didn't challenge me at all. It was and I don't know why, but I liked it. And I don't know, maybe it's the artist in me, maybe it's the shapes, maybe it's the perception thing. So one of the things I was thinking about with some of my pieces is I've never bothered caring about learning any of those rules about size or perception or symmetry. What's the word? Symmetry. Never bothered caring or giving two fucks about it, because as long as it looked good to me in my eye, in my visual, and what I was going for, that was enough. That was enough for me. I'm not going to do anyone's real exact portraiture type stuff. So, I mean, we have cameras now. I don't even see the point in doing that. But so anyway, so that came to mind, and what's going on there? I can't. I'm like, how do I get the camera to be just so? You know? Anyway. So yeah, so that came to mind as I was thinking about geometry, and I was thinking about, but I love geometry and I loved how precise things could be and blah, blah, blah. But it, it's fine. But what it did do is it reminded me of why sometimes with some of my pieces, I get into a place where I'm at a loss for what to do with a space, or I'm at a loss for what to do with a mistake I made, or I'm at a loss for how to get a certain look across that I want. And I use shapes to do that sometimes, to do what I couldn't do some other way. For some reason, I'll find a shape, or I'll find a design or a pattern. So I haven't posted any of these, but I started creating these patterns for the illustrations in the book, because there's a few things that I've done that I wouldn't necessarily even put it on, to a painting or something like that, but it definitely has a pattern. And so for some of the pages in the book, the art on the page may simply just be the pattern in the background, the pattern to the page. Because I started putting those to digital as well, some of that stuff that I've done. And that was cool. I was like, oh, I can do a page, like almost like a wallpaper. Like I had a couple of great aunts who had real actual wallpaper on their walls, like the kind of wallpaper people, almost everybody used to use on their walls before people started painting their walls. And I was like, oh, some of my pages will look like they have some old school wallpaper behind the poetry. So that's gonna happen. That'll be in the book. I have no idea what I'm doing over here, and I'm not even sure I like it, but we'll see. Something told me those gravestones needed to stand out. And of course, you know, I know part of why I'm doing this, part of why I'm still shading and still doing what I'm doing is because I want to be painting it. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. Ooh. I think I'm just going to switch to ink. What y'all think? Wait, where's the camera? Hold on. Oh. Okay, this is where my brain, I'm not very smart. There we go. Which way? Oh, that's the graveyard. Oh. There, straighten up the page. Oh, the painting, the kind of painting this would turn into. I would do so much sky blue up here. And the blue and the blue from when I shaded here and in the blue in the cross. Oh, good Lord. I can just see it. I could just see it. I'd have so much really baby blue, sky blue up here, and then mix it in with some orange. And you know, that's the other thing I was thinking about was, you know, this piece this is on regular paper, but I have been known to turn art on regular paper into paintings. You know, I know how to do that. I'd rather it be on sketch paper, but whatever. I don't want to do that. I do want to do this. Yep. I think I'm done with the pencil for sure. And I'm going to put ink to this. But I'm going to do that with the light board and because I am going to ink it with the light board on sketch paper. So this particular sketch, the way it is, will stay the way it is. And I'm going to ink using sketch paper with the ink, and that piece will be a whole completely separate piece of paper that I will use to take the image shot of for the illustration for the book. What I end up doing with these sketch pieces, the sketch pages, I have no idea. But I do know that I will hold on to them. I started putting them in a folder. But what I learned was that when I use the light box to do that part, as opposed to inking this, I get this. I get this piece inked. But then I get a visual of a different perspective that's I'm not seeing yet. And like I did, I should, while I'm here, where did I put her? I, wait, which camera is me? Oh yeah, okay. So I am going to